Good evening, everyone. This is a call to order of the Wilmette Public Library District Board of Trustees regular meeting for Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. The time is now 6:30 and the meeting will begin. May we have a roll call, correct? Yeah.
Okay. Trustee Cox?
Here.
Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Nealon?
Here.
Trustee O'Keefe is here. Trustee Sennett?
Here.
Trustee Summer is absent. Trustee Fishman?
Here. Thank you. May I have a motion, please, that Trustee O'Keefe will be our secretary this evening in Trustee DiLorenzo's absence. We'll just have a roll call, or we need a motion.
You want a motion?
Please.
Okay. I so move that Trustee O'Keefe will be our
Acting secretary.
secretary.
Perfect.
This evening. Great, thank you. That was a motion by Trustee Nealon, and we'll just have a roll call, a voice vote. All
Aye.
those in
Yep.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No. Thank you, Trustee O'Keefe. All right. Now is the time for public comment. Any meeting attendees who have signed in at the list at the back of the room, the visitor public comment registration form, is what it's called, and who wish to address the Wilmette Public Library District Board of Trustees may do so now. Anyone that would like to? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go on, please. Now we'll review the draft minutes of the August 20th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes. And are there any discussion or any corrections or additions?
The only comment I had was in Section 6, action items, when it said that the ordinance is attached when it's discussing the annual budget and appropriation ordinance, just to make sure that that ordinance is actually attached. In our materials, it was not, but for the formal minutes, that ordinance should be attached.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other further discussion? All right, thank you. Seeing none, then may we have a motion to approve the August 20th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes this evening?
I move approval of the August 20, 2024 regular board meeting minutes as presented with the note that Trustee O'Keefe made about the attachment and correction.
Thank you. Is there a second, please?
I second.
All right. Trustee Cox has motioned the approval, and Trustee Sennett has second. All right. The meeting minutes as corrected. Thank you. And Trustee O'Keefe, may we have a roll call, please?
Of course. Trustee Cox?
Yes?
Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Nealon?
Yes.
Trustee O'Keefe, yes. Trustee Sennett?
Yes.
Trustee Summer is absent. Trustee Fishman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried for the approval with corrections of the August 20th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes. Thank you.
To be clear, there were no corrections. It was the minutes as presented.
Thank you. All right. We'll now move on to the treasurer's report. And in Trustee Summers' absence, Trustee O'Keefe will present. Thank you.
Certainly.
Two hats.
Yes. So I received Trustee Summers' report. I'd like to read it now. If you have any questions, please feel free to, you may ask me, or we certainly can ask her at a later time. But she had 4 notes for the treasurer's report for tonight's September 17th, 2024 meeting. And again, this is in her voice, this is not me. I compared the monthly interest income for the Special Reserve Fund of $15,046 to that of the monthly interest earned for the General Fund of $59,251. I then looked at the CD listing for both the Special Reserve Fund and the General Fund, and their balances were $5,093,350. That's for the Special Reserve Fund, and $2,354,473 for the General Fund, respectively. At first glance, you would think that the interest for the special reserve fund should be higher than that of the general fund, but the general fund interest is actually about 4.5 times higher. This is due to the fact that there is approximately $6.5 million in the general fund MaxSafe account, earning about 5.58% interest. Therefore, the interest income numbers for each fund appear reasonable. Her second note. Also, according to Director Austin, since Sandra started managing daily balances in the bank accounts, the library has been keeping only what's necessary to pay bills in our operating checking accounts and leaving more in the money market until the transfers are necessary. This approach is what has led us to grow our general fund interest this year, so thank you. There was a small check to T-Mobile, check number 57879 for $126.01, which was recorded as a library vehicle expense. This is for the emergency phone which travels with the library van. And Trustee Summers' last note, in looking at the profit and loss statements for general fund only, as well as the statement for all funds, interest income year-to-date, on both the general fund only statement, which is $59,251, as well as all funds, $76,835, you will note that the budgeted amount is the same for both statements, $150,000. We did not budget interest income for the special reserve fund, so when reviewing that line item and comparing it to amount budgeted, it is only meaningful for the general fund, only profit and loss statement. And again, I know that's a lot of information, but those are her notes that she provided to me, and that's all I have.
All right. Any other questions about that or anything that?
And there were no other notes or information as to bill and salaries check detail, but everything, when I reviewed it, looked reasonable and complete.
All right, thank you. So then, is there a motion to approve the bills and salaries check detail for August 2024?
I move approval of the bill and salaries check detail for August 2024 as presented.
Thank you, Trustee O'Keefe. And is there a second, please?
I second.
Okay, Trustee Senate has seconded the motion to approve the bills and salaries check detail for August 2024 as presented. Thank you. Any other there's any other discussion? All right. Trustee O'Keefe, may we have a roll
Of
call,
course.
please?
Trustee Cox?
Yes.
Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Nealon?
Yes.
Trustee O'Keefe, yes. Trustee Senate?
Yes.
Trustee Summer is absent. Trustee Fishman?
Yes. Thank you. Motion carried to approve the bills and salaries check detail for August 2024 as presented. Next on the agenda is our action item, and this is relating to our computer system replacement project and the recommendation. And I'm going to ask Director Austin to give us a little background. It's all in the packet, so we are going to continue as an action item, and if there's we'll have discussion after this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, it's not every day that we have this type of an item on our agenda. In fact, it's a cyclical item that this is the first time that it has come up in my 6 years at the library. And we're starting to really feel it. So this is the proposal for the recommendation for the replacement of our computer systems. As noted in the packet as part of our strategic plan and as identified in our last 2 fiscal years Special Reserve Fund project goals, the library's 8-year-old desktop and 5-year-old laptop computing systems are overdue for update and replacement, and the hardware is at or approaching its end of life with near daily use and increasing maintenance issues. So in the packet, there's a proposal here that talks about the methodology for our recommendation, the volume of computers that we're proposing to replace. This is a volume proposal, so it is a substantial total, as you're seeing, approximately $250,000 for this project. This includes every desktop system that the library uses to facilitate its operations of the library every day. It includes all of the public workstations, the laptop computers that we provide for programs, as well as all of staff operations. Associated peripherals are included in this, including the monitors and stands, as well as the labor that's involved in getting the software updated on all of these. That's the part of the project that's proposed by Computer View. They're our land management, our local area network management company that's been with us for a number of years, and they're providing a service to us to configure the software for the operating systems, install the desktop software, as well as facilitating the implementation, installation, and responsible recycling of the old materials and packing materials that go with this. A fairly substantial project for us, again, the first time that we've done this in the last 8 years. It's certainly part of a project that will continue as long as we exist. Technology is essential to our infrastructure. So as we've been talking about this project, it's become apparent to us that we do need to update our special reserve fund plan so that we can anticipate expenses like this in the future. So we'll make sure that the next time that we review that document, we'll have a ballpark estimate for this particular project. So I'll talk more about that here in my report in a moment. But the details are in the packet. I know that we've had a little bit of correspondence back and forth via email about the project and some of the details associated with it. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask about the scope of the work?
I think, as you say, they're 8 years old, 5 years old, and everyone who relies on your laptop, your computer, your desktop, knows how quickly things are outdated. So we've gotten, it sounds like, a good 8 years, 5 and 8 years out of our hardware and now software, and things change so quickly. So I am definitely in favor of this update.
Thank you.
I'm a Mac user, so I don't really understand. Windows 11 Pro, is that the top of the line for a professional organization?
Well, I don't know if it's a matter of top of the line. It is the current operating system that has been scaled for business operations. We'll be likely implementing Windows 10, which is what staff are using currently, but have an upgrade planned in the future. The big change software-wise for us with this particular project is the Office software. So the productivity software, particularly on the staff side, we're proposing that migration to Windows 365. Which is a collaborative cloud-based software platform. We've linked a bit of info about that in the packet. That's going to be a big enough initiative for us to launch that new system, although most of our new employees in the last couple of years are familiar with that environment already and are excited for us to finally jump feet first into that software. We've had Teams for a while, and we use that to an extent, but it's not the full-fledged version of the cloud-based software, so we're excited to be able to implement that. There's a lot of possibilities that come with that new system. Eventually, Windows 11 will be upgraded on all these computers as well.
I'm just curious, was the sustainability coordinator, did she speak at all into the recycling of the materials, or is that?
Ooh, good question.
We didn't work with the village on this particular project. CVI will be taking care of that, and historically they've been responsible for all of our tech that we recycle. Yep, that's a great question.
That's just, it's a lot of hardware, you know?
It is.
It is. I mean, just trying to find a place for 100 boxes is going to be, a thing.
Would that be something we would discuss, bring her in on this, or?
We've already got the
We've already
solution identified.
got
Yep.
it. Move forward. Okay, anything?
One more, how long do you think it'll take to upgrade and install all of those? Is that a matter of, are you doing it in phases so you don't have to shut everything down?
We've got a method for how we do deployments like this. The most recent project that we worked on, well, we've done a number of projects like this, and I suppose I should indicate that. So we did a complete server infrastructure replacement project. We've updated our network connection. We updated the Wi-Fi network in the last 2 years, as well as all the telecommunication systems in the last year. The telecommunications systems, which is the new endpoint phones that went at every one of the workstations, is a great example of how this deployment would work. So we'll be going through department by department as we roll out the new equipment. But it would likely be done, hopefully, within the course of a day. We'd be able to implement it. Now, upon the action this evening and then receipt of the equipment, we're looking probably towards the end of the year because we're going to have systems testings and a number of, hoops to jump through. But I imagine probably 4 to 6 weeks before we see the equipment, and then getting everything configured, working out the test, and then installation to follow. But by the end of the calendar year, for sure. Department by department, long story short.
And there'll be in-house training?
On
all
the
new
software, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I see Michael's here. Thank you
Yep.
for coming this evening.
And Michael is really our IT manager, Michael Pisernich, is really responsible for working with CVI and HP to bring forth this proposal. He's put many, many hours into getting this project to where it is today. We feel really confident with the information that he's been able to provide us. So thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
I think it's very exciting, all new tech for patrons and staff. That's a great thing for the library.
Thank you. Yeah, we think we're going to be able to work much more efficiently now. It's sometimes that we can only have so many programs open on our computer at a time before things really slow down or crash. That happens to me.
Oh, yeah.
All right, good. Thank you. Well, and seeing no other discussion, may we have a motion then, please?
I'll do it. I move approval of the computer system replacement project proposal, including a quote from Hewlett-Packard for computer systems equipment in the amount of $179,825, and a quote from Computer View, Inc. for accompanying software and system installation, configuration, and recycling quote in the amount of $63,090 for a project total of $242,915 as presented.
Thank you, Trustee
I will
Simmons.
second that.
And that's Trustee Nealon has seconded the motion. Thank you. Seeing any other discussion? Trustee O'Keefe, may we have a
Certainly.
roll call, please?
Trustee Cox?
Yes?
Trustee DeLorenzo is absent. Trustee Nealon?
Yes.
Trustee O'Keefe, yes. Trustee Senate?
Yes.
Trustee Summer is absent. Trustee Fishman?
Yes. Thank you. Motion carried. And that is to approve the computer system replacement project recommendation, and including a quote from Hewlett-Packard, I guess I'll read it all, for the computer system equipment in the amount of $179,825, and a quote for Computer View for accompanying software and system installation, configuration, and recycling quote in the amount of $63,090 for a project total of $242,915 as presented. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you all. We'll keep you posted on our progress on the project. We're really excited. Thank you.
Moving on to our director's report. Director
Okay.
Austin, please.
All right. So I have a number of things I want to share with you this evening. First, I'll give you an update as we're talking about finances. We did receive our draft audit from our auditor, Lauterbach and Amon, for fiscal year 23-24 this past month, and we're in the process of working out the final details and getting those copies to you all so that we can receive the presentation of that audit at our October 15th meeting. So our next regular meeting, we'll see the delivery of the audit with a representative from LNA coming to talk us through that information. We also have a committee meeting for the Finance Committee scheduled for Wednesday, October 2nd. This is the long-range financial planning discussion and presentation with our consultant, Andrew Kim from PMA. He's going to be talking about our long-range financial planning scenarios, specifically as related to our fall levy discussion, as well as looking at potential financing options for the Space Needs Assessment project that we've been discussing this past summer. So looking forward to that meeting here in a couple weeks. Also, today is National Voter Registration Day, and the League of Women Voters Wilmette has a series of local events related to nonpartisan voting information posting on their website, as well as community engagement activities, including a voter registration event here at the library tomorrow, Wednesday, September 18th. So if you're not registered to vote, you can certainly come to the library and do that. Speaking of elections, we have an election coming up in April, Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. In which 3 of the seats on our 7-member board are going to be open. And all of those seats will be for a full 4-year term expiring in April 2029. We have election packets containing petition forms and instructions available in the administrative offices. Information is also available online, and we have a page on our website dedicated to election information. Those nomination papers must be filed with the library between Tuesday, November 12th and Monday, November 18th. And again, all that information is online and on this agenda. Any questions about any of those items? Okay, all right, well, I'll get into the generalities of my report, and then we can talk about anything that you'd like to pull out. So in August, we had just short of 22,000 visitors to the library, so we averaged about 726 users a day, and we welcomed 263 new patrons in August. We have 16,646 unexpired registered cardholders, the majority of whom, 85%, have had their cards active in the last 6 months in the building, which is an incredible rate of user engagement in our community. That means that more than every household in our community has a library card, so that's wonderful. This is the highest number of active cards that we've had in recent documented history. Seems appropriate that this is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. So if you don't have a library card, we're coming out to find you, and we've recently connected with over 60 patrons at the French Market this past week, scores more at the Kenilworth Food Truck Mondays, and we also have a new relationship, as I mentioned last month, with Sears School in Kenilworth to register incoming students for cards with either of the servicing libraries in Kenilworth, be that Wilmette or Winnetka-Northfield. We also have that partnership with District 39 here locally in Wilmette, and that accounts for a good number of those cards that we registered in August. If you're following along with us on social media this month, you've probably seen regular posts celebrating the variety of ways that your library card is the most valuable card in your wallet, and today we promoted our popular ad-free subscription to Consumer Reports online. You may have also seen a clever video this month on social media. Wilmette Public Library participated in a consortium-wide video project to promote CCS members Mount Prospect and Waukegan, who will be joining our consortium in October. The video shows how your library card can be used at all of the 30-plus CCS libraries, reflecting the millions of items that are available to you throughout our system. Did you know that you can take your Wilmette library card to any library in their consortium? You can. Beginning on Saturday, September 28th, all CCS libraries are going to be offline for a circulation process that will load all of those records in the Mount Prospect and Waukegan collections into the CCS database. So as always, but especially during this brief offline period, we're asking patrons to bring their library cards in to check out materials, computers, and rooms. We expect the system to go live with Mount Prospect and Waukegan Libraries collections and patron databases in the CCS database beginning on Tuesday, October 1st. But they do typically exceed expectations, so fingers crossed that we'll see them here on Monday. Our technical services manager, Jessica Thompson, created a number of reports related to our collections for selectors. As you know, we've been going through and doing evaluation, particularly of our adult and youth services department collections, so that we can right-size the physical collections. And as a result of a strong coordinated effort from our collection development team, our selectors met one of our really ambitious goals of this summer, which was to weed 10,000 items that were based on a variety of criteria that were no longer of utility to our community. And they exceeded that expectation. They withdrew 12,689 items by the end of August. So that was a Herculean effort by our team, and the collection looks really great as a result of that. Statistically, we've already begun to see the impact of just that little movement in our collection. One of the data that we track is the turnover of our collection, how many of the items are actually checked out at any given point in time. And we've noticed that the nonfiction collection in adult services, which comprise the majority of that weeding during the summer, has already seen greater rates of turnover. It's gone up a few percentage points. So it follows that when there are fewer items to clutter the good items on the shelves, those good items tend to shine and find their intended audience that much easier. So we're very excited about that. Grateful for the services of our adult and youth services teams for weeding those items, for the technical services staff that has managed that significant influx of materials, and for the facilities and safety team who helped sustainably move those items along through our partners at the Friends of the Library, Thrift Books, and B2. On the selection, curation, and promotion side of the collections, our development of print collections is growing. To determine if select high appeal items are truly no longer of interest to visitors, we have a new highlight section in the recent arrivals area of the Adult Services Department called Hidden Gems, where they've been giving some items a second look before they do go through that final weeding process. So things that the librarians are just kind of clutching and don't really want to get rid of right away, they're going to give one last shot to see if they can find their home. And some of those things have actually turned over as a result, so that's been good. Adult Services has also been experimenting with some pop-up displays that tie into trends in popular media, and that's been going to great effect. They had a Beetlejuice display that they just couldn't seem to keep their items on the shelf for. So check out that fun movie. We also added a fun twist to our back-to-school theme, and staff were excited to collaborate on a list of dark academia suggestions in adult and teen materials, and that was published on the back page of our newsletter this month, if you saw that. The big news for us in August is that we wrapped up our summer reading program, Read New Repeat, at the end of August, and we brought our series of events, challenges, and prizes to a close. We experimented with some new approaches this summer, including an exciting kickoff concert for adults, interdepartmental collaboration, including maker activities and transitional options for middle schoolers who want to affiliate with some of the more popular teen program offerings, as well as increased outreach to our delivery patrons. Adult and teen participation was consistent with past years, as you can see from the statistics in my report, while youth participation rose 12% over last year. We've got some metrics and charts in there for both departments, and you can see a little bit more. But all signs point to increased awareness and engagement of our programming. For the second year, Youth Services created an epic gallery of readers as part of our summer reading program halfway activity. After at least 10 days of reading or doing activities, young people stopped by the Summer Reading Club booth to have their picture taken with the book that they wanted to share, or even their prize book. And those photos were then printed and added to our gallery of readers. And if you haven't gone up to the second floor to see that gallery of readers, it is really charming and super sweet. And there is a page on our website that's dedicated to the recommendations of our young people who did a lot of reading this summer. Our Summer Reading Club culminated on August 15th with our annual Summer Reading Club celebration. Grammy-nominated Justin Roberts performed with his band in the Auditorium because it was a rainy day. And while outside, the Kona Ice Truck gave out free shaved ice. And that event was attended by over 90 patrons here in this room. We're grateful for the continued support of the Friends of the Wilmette Public Library, whose generous contributions make our summer reading events and prizes possible. Thanks, friends. And I also want to thank the scores of volunteers who partnered across multiple departments to help make this summer a successful program for everyone. So thank you to our volunteers. Let's see, what else? In youth services, our community engagement librarian, Sarah Jo Zaharako, launched a new adult accessibility video this month. It's the new social story video that's narrated by our welcome desk assistant and former educator, Peter Sandstrom. It's available on our accessibility landing page and helps patrons with all abilities prepare for their visit to the library. The project was made in partnership with the North Suburban Special Recreation Association's Enhanced Lifestyles for Adults program. We also updated our accessibility page overall. As you know, we've been working to make our website accessible to everyone for persons of all abilities. And with a lot of work on that project this summer, we officially launched a new page with our standards for how we maintain our accessibility there. So we're continuously working to ensure that our website and electronic communications conform with these standards, and we have those standards stated on our page now officially. There's also a mechanism for anyone who wishes to express a request for an accommodation. There's ways that you can engage with our webmaster there on that page now too. Elsewhere in the library, in the studio, our DMS team took a week-long re-energizing recess at the end of August when staff performed machine maintenance, engaged in professional development and learning, and worked on displays, cleaned, and experimented with new materials and techniques. Otherwise, demand for their services in the studio, in programs, and at the technology desk and through our online resources continued with vigor, and there are some really great testimonials in my report that talk about that. We have a season of great programming in our fall newsletter, which I just teased a second ago, with fun, informative, and engaging activities for everyone. This is in every mailbox in the community, and we've got more in the back of the room if you need one. We also finished a brochure for new card holders, which is the first of a package of new materials that we're aiming at new patrons, and for those returning to the library for the first time. We're looking forward to creating a full package of materials for this audience, including web content and targeted email marketing, which we will roll out later this fall. But this new brochure is distributed by the circulation staff to patrons who sign up for a library card for the first time or just have questions about what you can do with your library card. So we launched that this month. The IT team has been really busy beyond the action that we just took a few moments ago. Library-wide, we've been working on a cybersecurity training platform called Know Before that we launched earlier this summer, and every employee in the library has completed 3 training modules this summer, including training on identifying malicious emails and making strong passwords. We're going to be delving into more of this activity as we double down on this platform going forward, and I'm even going to get you all involved because you have library email accounts too, so we'll soon be assigning some of this training for our board as well.
Important.
It is important. It's how we protect the integrity of our network. Michael's also working with our vendors and staff on implementing various aspects of our help desk software. I've talked about this before. So the IT team and the facilities staff are soon going to be launching a ticketing platform so that they can manage tickets that come in from staff so that they can improve operations. Whether they want software installed on a computer, their printer isn't working the way that they expect it to, the door doesn't open all the way in a bathroom or something like that. There are ways that staff can relay the information effectively so that it can be tracked each step of the way with this new ticketing software. Additionally, they've spent a good deal of time using an asset management piece of this to load every asset that we have in the building, including all of these new computers that we're just buying, so that we can better manage all of our equipment and track trending on those various pieces of equipment. So we're excited about that project. It's been a while in development because it takes a lot of work to get it set up at the beginning, but we're soon going to be launching this for all staff to use very shortly. All right, I'm almost done, y'all. On the staff side, I wanted to share the really exciting news that I've already shared with you all via email, but with you here in this meeting this evening, that after many months, we're excited to report that we have hired our new assistant director. Renee Grassi comes to us with over 12 years of professional library experience. Most recently, she served as the director of the Lake Bluff Public Library. And during her time there, she has implemented the creation of job descriptions, a new pay structure, and has won some grants for accessibility at that facility. She's also worked at youth services operations in several libraries, including Glencoe, Glen Ellen, Deerfield, and the Dakota Library System in Dakota County Library System in South Suburban Minneapolis. We're excited to see Renee get started here. She'll be joining us at the end of the month on September 30th. So she will likely be joining us at our next meeting in October. The leadership team participated in a professional development initiative that was built around the communication effectiveness assessment and training through the DISC model this past month, and that was part of our year-long initiative for professional development with the leadership team. And then finally, I will just add that you'll see there's a couple articles that I've appended to my report this month. We're really proud and excited to see that our adult services librarians, Eva Johnson and John Amundsen, both had articles that were published in some popular industry journals this month. So we wanted to share those with you too. That concludes the information that I wanted to summarize from my report for you all this month. Is there anything that you'd like to pull out or any questions that you have about the library?
Well, I'll just say I was at the French Market this weekend in Wilmette, and there was a great table, and there was swag to a little sewing kit and frisbee and sunglasses. So they had quite a morning. I popped by, and from young patrons and strollers, a lot of parents didn't know that correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe any age, well,
That's right.
any age can have a library card. That was exciting, and there was a much older woman who lived in the community and doesn't have a card. So they could issue her a card, anyone a card right then and there, and it was exciting. It was really fun. And so this was the last table of the season, but they'll start again next year. So kudos to the staff for again reaching out to the community.
Great.
So that was great.
Thank you. They really enjoy that. I also didn't mention, although we'll get the actual metrics that we'll share in our September report, but we also participated at the beginning of September at the block party. The library was on the Village Green, and we had our Imagination Playground blue blocks out there in partnership with the Park District. And from what I understand, we had hundreds of kids that came through and played with the blue blocks.
That's fun. That's great.
All right, anything else?
So all our discussion about the card, is there anything for which we actually need the physical card now, or can we just rely on the digital card that we can carry on our phone?
You can still do that as well, absolutely. So the library has an app, or you can take a picture of your library card, so you don't need to physically present your card.
Okay.
Although we do appreciate the physical card for, some of the activities that we're doing, like booking a study room or whatnot. But nope, your digital card works just as well as the print one. Yep.
And also, is this, I believe you could have your phone number checked at the circulation desk.
Yes.
Maybe, just
But not
maybe, but not.
during the downtime
Okay.
of the system.
System.
So
Oh,
really,
of course,
we just
of
ask
course.
that you please bring your library card when you come to the library, and if you've got your cell phone, have a picture of your card on your phone or use the app. It's a really convenient way to have access to your library.
Oh, good. Great. Anyone else? Any other questions for Director Austin?
No other questions.
Okay. But 16,000 library cards holders.
It's pretty
is
good.
Exciting.
For 10,000 households, that's pretty great.
Right. Wonderful. Okay. We'll move on. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
To committee reports. Anything going on? ILA, Rails, update? Anything?
Nothing, no.
Okay. Dr.
No
Austin?
report.
Okay, thank you. And information items, you gave us a listing of number of important information coming up. Thank you very much. And the ILA conference, October 8th through 10th in Peoria.
Yep, and the 10th is the trustee day, so if any of you are interested, let me know. I don't believe that there's an online component this year,
Okay, all in
so
person.
you would have to go to Peoria.
Can be done.
It can be done.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Any new business? Anyone? All right, seeing none. Well then, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that the board adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, Trustee O'Keefe. And we will have a voice vote, please. All those in favor, aye, of adjournment at 7:08. Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Hardly. And this concludes the meeting this evening on September 17th, 2024, of our regular library board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.